Hey y'all, what's going on? My name's Jacob Robinson. I'm a fishing guide down here on Lake Wedowee in East Alabama. Today is Saturday, October the 18th. I've been down here all week doing some fishing, mainly crappie fishing. I haven't actually bass fished a ton this week. I've had, I think, 6 guide trips, a couple electronic setups, and then the other ones have been crappie fishing trips. So I want to give a big thank you to everybody that's taken a trip with me here recently, or in the past. Like I said, I appreciate all the trips I get to do on the lake. I really enjoy getting to take people out here, have a good time, and catch some fish. So like I said, a big thank you to everybody that goes out on the lake with me. But the water temp is about 73, 74 in the mornings, and then it gets up to like 75, 76 in the afternoon. It's been warmer than average, it seems like, for mid-October. Like typically, it's going to be in the high 60s, into the 70s during the day, but we've had 3 or 4 days this week where it's like 84, 85 at 2 or 3 in the afternoon. So had some pretty warm weather, which is keeping the lake temp a little bit warmer than average. The water, you can see, the water's already dropping. We're headed down to winter pool. It's down about just over 3 feet right now, maybe 3.5. My last fishing report, it was not down this far at all. I mean, like I said, I've been here all week, and each day the water line is farther and farther down, and you can see about the water temp. My dog seems to still enjoy it, so it's not too cold for her yet. But fishing's been good for the crappie. With the lake drawdown, the bass are a little bit more finicky, a little bit harder to catch, but you have the lake turnover as well. The lake turnover is when you have the stagnant water that's down there, 30, 40 foot deep, where there's not a lot of oxygen in the summertime. That kind of flips over and it starts to come up. It starts to bubble up. There's a lot of just, a lot of stagnant stuff, a lot of trash. You see a lot of stuff float in the water. You'll notice it's got like a sweet tea tint to the water. It's still clean, but it has kind of like a brown tint to it. So that's been going on the last couple weeks. I think we're kind of on the tail end of that in the main lake area. Some areas might not be along or as far along as others, but for the most part, like I said, I think we're on the downhill side of the lake turnover. But water temp in the low to mid 70s. Crappie fishing, this right here, and I've said it a million times, still time for the minnows. Get your minnow bucket, get an aerator, and get you a couple dozen minnows. That has seemed to be the best for the crappie. Putting that on a spinning rod with a little gold hook, a couple split shots, dropping that thing down. Today, when we pulled up on the spots, they'd be about 15 to 20 foot deep, and we pulled crappie up today from 32 to 33 foot of water. They're, fishing around structure. When you first pull up, they stay high in the water column, and once they feel the presence of the boat and you catch a couple, they start to shoot down to the bottom. As long as they don't leave the spot, I don't care if they go down, because you're still able to catch them. You just got to, send that bait down a little bit farther. Another good bait that I've been catching some fish on in the shallower areas is the little crappie jig. Same deal. Got the split shot, little 1/16 ounce crappie jig. That seems to be the deal when I'm in 20 foot or less. You get hung up with the minnow a lot when you're fishing shallow structure, but when you're out in the open water, the minnow does better. But on that shallower structure, that little crappie jig has definitely been the way to go. I've caught a lot of nice fish on it. I caught several on it today, but all week, I would pick the minnow over the jig 10 times over. I mean, it's just all around the best bait this time of the year. We had about a month before you can really do some damage on just the jig and can leave the minnows at home. As far as bass fishing goes, I've seen a lot of boats out this week. I've talked to some buddies of mine. I haven't personally, done a lot of bass fishing this week, but just, seasonally speaking, and based on what people have told me, it is kind of a tough time to be bass fishing right now. When the lake starts to draw down, a lot of those fish, they kind of have to back off. Some of the areas they've been living in all summer and early fall, they have to kind of get away from there. The bait fish are everywhere. I know you can't really tell it right now. It's not late enough yet, but here in the evenings, right before dark, there is just hundreds of pods of bait fish. Some of them are, this big around. Others are the size of the boat. There's just a ton of bait fish on the surface early in the morning and late in the evenings. So if you're going bass fishing, find the bait and you'll find the bass. I would throw something like a topwater bait, a little Kitech swim bait, a Zoom Super Fluke, something moving to find those feeding fish. And if you really just can't get a bite, need to slow down, the shaky head, finesse worm, a little finesse jig, Carolina rig, drag that on around a point, around some boat docks, and you can definitely get a bite. But if I was the one coming out here to bass fish, I would have a top water, a swim bait, a fluke, maybe a jerk bait, and I would just be running around looking for bait fish, throwing at pods of bait, looking for fish schooling on top of the water. So like that's really what I enjoy about fall fishing. I think another week or two, that's gonna be wide open. The lake will be done turning over. We'll be close to winter pool, and those bait fish will really get active, and those bass will be trying to eat them. But like I said, it's been a good week of fishing. I've been glad to be down here on the lake. Got some tournaments coming up. That's really where I'm gonna be focused here the next couple weeks. Got a tournament down here next weekend, and we turn around and go to Lake Altoona mid-November. So I'm going to be really focusing on those two tournaments. So I'm not actually doing a lot of guide trips the next couple weeks. I'm kind of busy, but I'm booking some stuff for mid to late November and then into December. So if you want to take a trip, be sure to reach out and let me know. It's getting the time of the year where you can get out there and catch 40, 50 bass a day. So be on the lookout for that. But like I said, that's my fishing report for the week. If you get any questions or anything, just reach out and let me know, and I'll try my best to help. And other than that, I hope y'all have a good week and get out here on the lake and catch some fish.